Hello. Today I am going to show a game played between Karl Hamppe and Wilhelm Steinitz. Karl Hamppe was a very strong player in the mid-19th century. He was of Swiss origin and he played the matches with the best players of the time: Johann Leventhal, Ernest Felper, Daniel Harwitz, and Wilhelm Steinitz, who later became the first world champion. Hamppe won twice the Vienna championship in 1859 and 1860, both time ahead of Wilhelm Steinitz. So he played with the white pieces. Steinitz later became the world champion, played with the black pieces, and this game illustrates his attacking style. This style is mainly of the first part of his chess career. Then slowly he began to change his style, and we'll see this in the future. So the game began with e4, e5, knight c3, knight f6. This is a typical position of the Vienna opening. F4, it could transpose to the king's gambit, but black declines and answers with d5. White takes the pawn, knight takes the pawn. Before this game was played, other players used to play e4, so not to allow the white to take the pawn. And after d4, for example, bishop b4, bishop c4, knight takes. Now the knight is pinned. You cannot use it because the king will be attacked by the bishop. Bishop takes, queen takes, and the white continues to develop with knight to e2, protecting the other knight, protecting the pawn, and the game continues. Bishop g4, pinning also the other knight, castles, and so on and so on. Okay, let's return to the game. In this position, black did not advance e4, but took the pawn on d5. White took the pawn on e5, knight took the knight, b pawn takes the c pawn, the knight. It's useful to understand that this is one of the principles of chess. If you have to take a piece, take with the pawn towards the center, because the idea is to strengthen the center. If white would take with the d pawn, black would change the queens and white would lose the option of castling. So white takes with the b pawn. Queen h4. Attack, check. Now, of course, you cannot protect this way because queen e4 will take the rook. Queen e4 check, and whatever you do, you lose the rook. So g3 is out of the question. So king e2. and bishop g4, check again. You can already notice that white has a pawn more, but black is already attacking fiercely the white position, and the king will not be able to castle, is already marching out of safety. So knight to f3, but of course the knight is pinned, it does not endanger the queen. So black develops another piece and prepares the long castle. Now, a good idea could be to change the queens. Why change the queen? The queen is dangerous, the black queen is dangerous, and changing the queen would enhance white chances. White played d4, protecting the pawn, because the pawn is in danger. This knight is pinned and cannot attack it back. Black castles, put his kings into safety, developing the rook, and the pawn will not be able to take back the pawn because now it's pinned. This pawn is pinned. If it will take this pawn, the queen will be exposed to the rook. So white again could try to change the queens and also to put it out of the pin, but it prefers to do bishop d2. Now, it could be a very good idea to stop the video, to wait a bit and think what black could do. It's fascinating. In a few seconds, I will tell you what could black do. So I give you some time to think. If you want to stop the video, you can do it. So black could now take the pawn on d4. And you say, what is the idea? I could always take it back with the pawn. First, we'll see what is the threat. The threat is rook e4, check. The king cannot go to this diagonal. The king has to go to d3. It's very dangerous. So let's take it with the pawn. Now knight takes the pawn with check. Again, the knight is pinned, you cannot use it. The king has to go to d3. Bishop f5. Now the queen is protecting the knight. The bishop is threatening the king. The king cannot come back. And if he goes to c3, knight will hit the other knight, and look at the threat. The threat is queen to b4 and checkmate. Why checkmate? Because those squares will be attacked by the queen. All this line is attacked by the queen, and the d3 square is attacked by the bishop. So, okay, but black did not do it, did not sacrifice the rook. Maybe he didn't see it, maybe he thought, I'm winning anyway, and I don't have to do such crazy thing or think too deeply. So black just took the knight. And of course, white takes it back with the pawn. Now black has another possibility, but he took the e5 pawn with the knight. White didn't see any danger. He took the knight back. And now bishop c5, threatening mate on f2. You can see the mate, queen coming here. everything is attacked. The rook attacks d3, the bishop and the queen attack all the black squares. So finally, white goes to e1, trying to change pieces, but black declines and go to c4, check. Kings go to d1, only possibility. Check it out. And now black takes the pawn. The bishop is pinned, you cannot use it, threatening the rook. Rook goes to b1. Rook goes to b1. And white and black takes the f3, checking again the white king. And of course, the rook. Queen to e2. Queen to e2, protecting, and rook goes to d2. Now the queen cannot take the rook because she's pinned. White takes the rook with his king, and then the other rook comes to d8, checking the white king. King c1, bishop a3. The white king cannot go to the D line because the rook attacks it. So he has to go rook b2. Then the queen comes to c3, threatening a mate by taking the rook, which is also pinned. Bishop c3, h3 checking. King just go to b8. Queen to b5, guarding the rook. And now there is a beautiful finish. Again, you can stop the video thinking how black can mate white very, very quickly. Okay, I waited a few seconds. If you wanted to stop the video, you can. Now I'm going to show you the beautiful ending. Queen d2, forcing white king to go to b1. Then the queen sacrifices itself and the rook has to take it. And now the finish, rook d1 checkmate. This is one of the first games that we have in our database by the future world champion, Wilhelm Steinitz. I hope that you enjoyed the game and see you next time.